Hey guys, how's it going? As you know, my name's Alive, and today's video is going to be a little bit different than the rest of my videos. Today's video is going to be more of a one-on-one conversation between me and you guys. Also, it's going to be all one take. There's not going to be any cuts, any editing, or anything like that, so I may stumble up over my words here and there a little bit. You're going to have to forgive me for that ahead of time. Anyways, I'd like to talk about something that I've seen around on my YouTube comments and a few other classic WoW content creators' YouTube comments, and that is that we are going to ruin classic WoW. The guides that we're releasing, information that we're putting out there, is just going to ruin the game. And I think this isn't really a correct way of thinking. Ever since video games have even been out, and thinking of, when Game Boy came out, Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue, there was written guides for those too. It's just you had to go to your local game store and actually buy a thick packet guide that had a whole walkthrough of the game. But the information was still out there. It's just that nowadays the internet's a really big deal. We have YouTube, Twitch, whatever sort of website you want to go to, and you can find the information a lot easier than what you could before. It's kind of your responsibility to not go seek that information if you want the game to be new, fresh, and be a discovery every day for you. I do agree, though, however, that a lot of people are going to seek out this information, and that's just the community that we've come to raise in society. We just want to be good gamers. We want to be informed. Can't really hold that against people. Anyways, this leads me into the topic of the video for today, and that's casual gamers versus hardcore gamers. And I think that there's pros and cons for both of the sides. For a long time, there's been kind of a negative stigma around casual gamers. I'm sure a lot of you have heard plenty of times people say, "Oh, you filthy casual," or "Casuals are terrible," blah, blah, blah. They've always kind of received the short end of the stick. But I think that for a lot of the hardcore players that have played World of Warcraft for years and years, or for a lot of us most of our lives, honestly, are a little bit envious of these casual gamers, and hear me out for a second. So if you've been playing World of Warcraft for many, many years, and I've heard a lot of streamers say this, Asmongold has brought it up in his streams, and I know I feel the same way, that if you've been playing this game for years and years, you would kill to go back to the day where everything is just new and fresh to you. Everywhere you went was just a new surprise. Back when you first started playing WoW, that was the best time. Every talent point that I got was exciting. Every zone that I went to was exciting. When I went to a dungeon for the first time, it was awesome. I remember farming Shadowfang Keep, killing Argyle a bunch of times because I was playing a rogue back in retail and I wanted Meteor Shard. I don't know why, I just wanted it. Anyways, I feel like this is something casual gamers get to have. Casual gamers don't really have as much time to put into the game as hardcore gamers do, kind of like how it implies in the name. However, casual gamers usually play the game for different reasons. They don't play the game to be hyper-competitive. They don't play the game because they want to do the absolute best that they possibly can. They're playing the game because, well, it's a game. They want to have fun. They might come home from work and have a little bit of time to play, or it might just be a game that they play with their buddies. And I feel like the hardcore community, while playing the game hardcore is fun, a lot of times it's more taxing on you because you have a lot of responsibilities. And a lot of times you play the game, it's not very fun because you have to fulfill those responsibilities. And for those reasons, I think casual gamers have it pretty nice, They might not reach Mythic Plus or all the top tier content, but the most important thing is when they play the game, they enjoy it. And that's great. I'm not trying to put down casual gamers when I put out these extensive PvE guides or any other guide I release. I'm not trying to tell people, look, you must play the game I want you to play. You must play hardcore or else you're not playing it right. That's not true at all. I'm just putting information out there. So if people do want to seek out that information, it's there for them. It's there for them. I'm just trying to teach them a little bit. But if you want the game to be new and fresh to you, that's also fine. If you want to level up as a boomkin, If you want to raid as an elemental shaman or PvP as an enhancement shaman because you saw a video and it looks super cool, do it. Especially if it's your first time playing Classic WoW or just WoW in general. Play the game how you want to play it. That's what's most important. However, some of these toxic things, or not toxic, but some of these more stressful responsibilities that hardcore gamers have to deal with, while hardcore is being fun and you're typically a little bit more respected, you typically have a little bit better gear, etc. All these responsibilities start to weigh down on you a little bit. For example, hardcore players in Classic WoW have a huge amount of things to do. Classic WoW is an extremely extensive game just as is. So to be a hardcore gamer, you have to do many things, such as you have to pick the exact perfect class for your race. If you're a warrior and you're on Alliance, you gotta go human. It's the best, you gotta do it, and if you're in a hardcore guild, people are gonna make fun of you. If you're on Horde, you gotta be Orc. You just gotta do it. And if you're a hardcore gamer, that's something you're gonna have to deal with. For leveling, you're going to have to put in more hours than your average player because hardcore guilds, they want to get to the dungeons faster. They want to get to world bosses faster. They want to be the first ones there. That's more of a responsibility for you. Even professions. As a hardcore gamer in Classic WoW, almost everyone in your guild is going to want engineering. And some other classes have to have tailoring or different professions here and there. You can't just pick whatever profession you feel like, because professions matter. Even optimizing your raid setup. Early on in Classic WoW, melee DPS are heavily favored over caster DPS. So sometimes you guys might want to do a super competitive speedrun. You want to go through the dungeon as fast as possible. Well, you can't just take 9 warlocks. You can't take 7 warlocks because it's not optimal. And that's something else that hardcore players have to deal with. Not only this, but when you go to raid, you can't just step into the raid. You have responsibilities beforehand. There's many different world buffs that you can get in Classic WoW that make your character stronger, and you need to collect all of these buffs before the raid even comes. You need to teleport across the world, get buffs from Dire Maul Tribute, get Songflower from Felwood, and so on. So you have responsibilities even before you even step into the raid. And then when you do get into the raid, there's a whole slew of different consumables that you can use as well. And consumables either mean more time spent in the game or more money spent, which is also time. Some of these consumables can cost several hundreds of gold for just 1 week's worth of raiding, especially if you're using a flask every week. And that means that you've got even more responsibility tacked on your shoulder. Not only this, but let's say you farm your best in slot setup, your pre-bis setup. Well, in Classic WoW, there's not just one pre-bis setup. There's not just one set of pre-bis where you get it, you're good to go, you don't need any more gear. Some different pieces of gear are better for trash pulls. Some pieces of gear are better for AoEing. Some pieces of gear are really good for tanking one boss, but not so good for tanking another. And in Classic WoW, some classes need resistance sets. So hardcore guilds are going to be farming all these different pieces of gear for different bosses so they can min-max the most that they possibly can. And in addition to that, when they fight these bosses, in Classic WoW there's only 16 debuff slots, which means when they fight these bosses, they have to use the most optimal debuff slots so not any of them are wasted and they can do the most amount of damage possible. In a casual guild, you don't really have to worry about that. You want to use Serpent Sting as a hunter? Go ahead, do it. If you're raiding as a boomkin or whatever, it's a free-for-all. You might not do as much damage, but you get to play the game how you want to play it. Anyways, to wrap this up, there are pros and cons for both mindsets, which I feel like I've represented. But if you don't want the game to be solved for you, or you don't want all the information there right at the start, and you want to unravel the game as you go on and play yourself, that's great. Unravel the secrets yourself and enjoy your adventure through World of Warcraft. However, the WoW community has been asking for Classic WoW for many years. Almost every single BlizzCon, there's a question about Classic WoW. And now we're finally getting it. The WoW community is getting what they've been asking for many years. So let's put aside the whole filthy casual or or giving hardcore players a hard time. Oh, you're a nerd, blah, blah, blah. Put that aside. Put that aside. We're finally getting the game that we've been asking for. And that means just play the game how you want to play the game. Play the game that's going to bring you the most enjoyment. All right, guys. All right. So I did mess up a little bit. At the beginning of this video, I said that I wasn't going to edit. I wasn't going to put in any more clips. It's all going to be one take. And here I am editing it a little bit. So that's my fault. Go ahead and do what the internet does best. You're welcome to trash talk me, flame me a little bit. That's totally fine. I messed up. Anyways, there's a few things I forgot to say. First being, let me know how you guys like this video. I know it's a little bit different than the usual style of video that we have here on the channel, but let me know if you guys liked this more personal one-on-one type style. Other than that, I wanted to say a big thank you to everyone out there who's been watching my videos or subscribing or even in my Discord. I wake up every morning extremely excited to grab my phone, immediately go to my YouTube, see who's commented, see who's been watching my videos, and go to my Discord and try to talk to people there as well. I'm really thankful that everyone here has really been supportive, and to me, my YouTube channel has grown so much in the first month. 1.3k subscribers and almost 60,000 views on my channel is, to me, amazing. Anyways, guys, that's the end of this video. So remember, keep the classic WoW hype alive.